Yep, okay. I made just a couple of small changes while not recording. I went away to generate some of the parts that I thought I needed. I also fiddled around with the landing gear. It changed these from the medium retracted gear to the large. Left this one at the medium and like sank it inside the fuselage some so it doesn't stick out so much. So this is good. See the things we're looking for. We want in the landing configuration, we want the nose is lower than the tail. This is good. This will help it stay on the ground and slow down whenever this thing is landing. And also you can just imagine in your mind's eye as this thing rotates, because it's going to touch down with the nose kind of an upwards attitude. We've still got a fair amount of clearance here that we're not going to be dragging anything on the ground. And of course we still have the mains are behind the center of gravity. Yeah, this is going to work. Okay, end flight on that one. Get back to the spaceplane hangar. Let me see a couple other small tweaks. I went and hid the chip for the flight engineer inside. I think before I share this, before I actually share the craft file, I'm going to remove that piece because I know, let people decide whether they want flight engineer or mechjeb or none of the above. I also went in here and I gave it to these radiothermal isotope generators. So it'll be able to create some electricity whenever it's in orbit. Okay, now, the thing I was talking about earlier for the internal fuel supply, specifically to run on these two OMS engines. Let's get in here. I went and I used Lando's part generator, and I made a couple of fuel tanks. I take it back. One fuel tank. Yeah, this thing. It should be just, it's half a meter wide, and it's 5 meters long. And, oh, I'm actually meant to redo that. Oh, well. Yeah, I accidentally used a cylinder instead of clean cylinder, so it has these ridges, but, I know, that's okay. It still looks cool. Alright. Now, okay, so I made this part, and I made this other part that goes with it. Actually, it's just a simple cone, an aerodynamic cone. One for each end, just because in some of the experimentation that I've done, I think that parts that are buried inside of the wing, sometimes they are still affected by aerodynamics. It's kind of a glitch in the game, a glitch in FAR, but I know it does happen like that sometimes. So we'll go ahead and put some aerodynamic cones on there. Okay. Turn mirroring on. Let me put this in here, and I probably want to do surface attach, right? Yeah, surface attach. Okay, let's try and get that just above those RCS tanks. Oh, stick. Okay, turn the mirror off. We'll do one, then we'll mirror it. Sometimes it gets finicky about that. It needs to be lower, and it needs to go back a little bit. About down there, like that. It's not sticking at the bottom. Okay, that looks to me like that fuel tank is nicely concealed. Let's do it again. This time let's mirror it. Yeah, that should work. Alright, and that's mirrored, right? Yes, it is. Okay, now let's see, what kind of delta V do we get out of that? But I'm expecting to be using only the OMS engine, so we'll just pull this engine off. So delta V 594. Good. Because now I think I want another tank just like that. So I think maybe that 594 is kind of low. I want to see if I can get at least 1,000 out of this. So let's copy this. And go and make certain that it's all connected on the other side as well. Yes, it appears to be. Okay, that didn't dramatically change our center lift. It did move the mass backwards slightly, but yeah, it's fairly well balanced. I like it. Good. Good. Okay, are we ready to do first flight tests on this vehicle now? Here, let's save it. Save that Falcon. Wait a second, not quite yet. Now let's do the FAR thing. So if we go over here, click this sweep angle of attack button. It'll give you a whole bunch of fancy lines on the graph. You don't actually have to know what all those mean. I mean, you can see the center of lift moves as the angle of attack increases, the lift to drag ratio changes, all that stuff. But really what clicking that button, what that does for us is it updates all the information we need to set up our control surfaces. Okay, here are our elevators. For pitch control, let's give them a max of 43 degrees. This on FAR, it gives you the stall angle. This is how many degrees this control surface can rotate before it stalls. When it stalls, it's no longer producing lift. It is producing some drag, but it is not producing lift. And so you always want your maximum surface deflection. You want that to be just less than the stall angle. Unless you're doing, let's say, air brakes. In that case, it'd be perfectly acceptable to exceed the stall angle. For the rudder, lots of times you don't need all this rudder authority. I think I'm actually going to leave that at 15, but I'm going to change it so it's just controlling yaw. And then these here for roll, 55 degrees. Good. Okay, and save it. Let's try it out. Click and launch. Come on, game, let's go. Here we are, Bill Kerman and Jebediah Kerman. I'm about to test flight this Falcon for the first time. Interesting thing that whenever you're using this retracted landing gear, so you launch it in the thing, you hit G once for the landing gear, and the game, it lights up like it's cycling the animation, but nothing actually happens. You have to hit G a second time. Once that's done, now it'll extend the gear. Okay, let's turn this on. Let's turn this on to airspeed. All right, let's go for a first test flight. I know that it's going to burn through this fuel absurdly fast. I think I'm actually not going to try for a landing, really. Yeah. Let me see. Did I get this other thing set up? Hotkey for the cargo bay. Yes, I did. Isn't that nice? Good. Close that again. I just want to test and make certain that this thing will glide. It'll fly properly. So to do that first, we'll get up in the air. And another thing, since I'm wanting to design this. This is a shuttle that's going to be for the masses. Everybody's going to use this. I'm doing this with using keyboard, not using joystick or an rudder pedal. So here we go. Can actually do. Oh, what? Hang on. Oh, I see. I was wondering what went out. It was just the tiny little bit of fuel in those forward cones. Okay, up over 100 meters per second. Okay, there's a nose coming up, and it's a flyable airplane. Drag that landing gear, throttle down some. Yeah, the engine pushing. It's got a down at an angle like that. It's got a very strong tendency to nose up. Yeah, it's going to burn through this fuel too fast to actually circle around and try and make a controllable landing out of it. But, yeah, we've demonstrated that we've got just the general wing plot figured out. Yeah, this will work. This will work. Okay, and flight. Good job, Bill. Yeah, there's just the classic Bill, Frown, Jebediah having a grand old time. All right, get back into the space plane hangar. Good. Okay, so what we've done is we've taken the Falcon, and now I know it's a viable aircraft. I'll tell you what, while I'm thinking of it, let me go and put my nav lights on there, because I love those nav lights. A lot like that, yeah. Let me see, we probably also need a few other lights just so we can see this thing in the dark. So let's add a few more lights onto that. Okay, while I'm here in the utility tab and adding stuff, because I know we're going to be doing cargo, I'll just go ahead while I'm thinking of it right now. We'll take just a regular clampetron, and I'll install just a regular clampetron right back here. because that's the thing we're going to be attaching some payloads to. Good. And we'll go around the other side. And we'll put that Clamptron Jr. Yeah, about right there. Good. Yep. Looking pretty cool so far. Okay, save that one. Now, let me see. Before we start looking at external fuel tanks and rockets and stuff and solid rocket boosters, let's think about, RCS. Let me see. We'll go with the RCS pods that came with these guys. These that came with the B9 Aerospace. I really like these. Do just a couple of these either end of the cargo bay. Yeah, that'll work. I know that in reality this wouldn't work because whenever it's thrusting downward, the exhaust tube would just be hitting the wing, and that's the net thrust would be 0. But there's one little thing that Kerbal Space Program physics can let us get away with that I'm not going to quibble with. Yeah. Now let's think about an external fuel tank. First we need a decoupler, just a regular old decoupler, a radial decoupler. How about this guy right here? Falcon design is kind of problematic in that it has this. It's of all the shuttles, it's going to have this one cargo bay in the a door that's going to open up in the belly. So I really have only one spot where I can stick that decoupler for the external fuel tank. And I think it's going to be right there. Yep. Okay. All right, now let's get over here in the propulsion tab. All this orange stuff. I went here and I made some. Just a bunch of parts really quickly and easily. Again, Lando's part generator. I did some of these. These are 1.25 meter, but I expect that this vehicle is going to need more. So I made it just regular 2 meter. Let's see what this does for us. Is this my longest 2 meter part? Yeah. See, my plan is we're going to fine tune how much fuel it needs with all of these. And then taking that knowledge, go in and generate a part so that the external fuel tank will be like just one large tank instead of having several of them all stacked up together. Okay, tail, and we've made a couple more of these little adapter what's-its to make it look round at the back. And if you're using Ferrum's Aerospace Research, making it look round at the back, that actually does matter for how the vehicle works, because I take a look at real life, the way things are aerodynamic. Not only are they streamlined in front, but you also usually want things to be kind of streamlined in back, so don't have all that. It creates pressure in the like a suction in the back, working the wrong way. Okay, so what does this do for us? Okay, let me see. Also, something that I want to do, I need to set up an action group that whenever this tank empties, something that I want to do is I want to shut this engine off. Let me see, I'll use action group 1 for that one. This will be shut down that engine, and also let's, also toggle that gimbal. Here we go. So it'll stop wiggling. Okay, now that's fairly nicely secured. Okay, now let me see. We need some of my radial decouplers again. How about these guys right here? Already mirrored. Okay. Those right up there like that. And now let's go look into propulsion. Okay, so I think, let's take a look. We've got this Globe 5 and this Globe 6. This one, 800 solid fuel. This one, let's go ahead and look at this one. See what this does for us. One unfortunate bug in this version of Kerbal Engineer, it will not give you the stats for those solids. I kind of wish it would, but it won't. But I already know. But, you know, that's I already know that it's going to be more, you know, I'm going to have more delta V, and it's going to have more of a thrust to weight ratio than it would if it didn't have them. So, yeah, it works. It's actually, I want to scoot those back. I like to scoot them back so it looks like when this thing is setting on end that the solid rocket boosters will be touching the ground, but the rest of the vehicle won't. I know it doesn't really matter, but just for kind of style's sake, you know. Alright, cool. Yeah, it's starting to look kind of like a little baby shuttle. Yeah, launch stability enhancers. Put them right there. I want these to release at the same time the solids light. Good. Let me see, do we want to put one more anywhere else? Now we'll see if just those two is sufficient first. I think we're ready for a launch test. Falcon version 1. Yeah, we already got that. Yeah, we're ready for a launch test. Let's do it. Okay, so yeah, if I'm going from the spaceplane hangar, push up once, then spin it over, you know. Up, you know, W once, D twice, and now it's set up so it'll just have to pitch up and it'll be heading towards 90. And launch. It's okay if it's kind of buried into the floor of the spaceplane hangar. When we get out here, it won't be. Yeah. Okay. There it is. Looking kind of cool. I don't know. It looks kind of goofy. It kind of looks cool also. Goofy cool. Alright. I like to set the trim back just a little bit because I want it to go in that direction. Okay, precision control is on. SAS is on. I'm going to stage the engines, throttle up, and then stage the SRBs. There's the engines and SRBs. Okay, we seem to be fairly vertical. Let's actually pitch back some so we get their direction of travel vertical. Definitely not climbing as fast as I would have hoped. Maybe going for an increasing the thrust stats of our main engine. Pitch back some more. Okay, pretty much vertical. Now pitch forward again. And keep it right around there for a while. Yeah, solid booster is disappearing pretty fast. Yeah, this is really kind of a disappointingly slow launch here, guys. I'm not so enthused about it. Jebediah is happy, but what does he know? Jebediah is always happy. As long as it makes noise, Jebediah is happy. Get rid of the solids. And look at us slowing way down. Oh, this is bad. This is very, very bad. This engine depth, it just doesn't quite have anywhere near the guts that I need out of it, you know? Ooh, yeah, it's not going to work. You know what? Let's just stop. Stop. In flight. Yeah, I know. See, it's not one of my storyline series, so I don't feel bad about just ending flight. We don't have to see it crash. Okay, let's get back into here. But this is why I was playing around with this tweakable parameters mod. Let's pull this out of here. For that engine, okay, so let's see what kind of range did I have. I wanted to go between 1.5 and 6 in steps of 5. And there's our thrust. Okay, tell you what, let's go up to 600 thrust on that one. Which means that this I want my mass to be up till 4, right? Yeah, there we go. Minimize that one, and as well, we want to take another look at those solid rocket boosters, as they are being kind of underwhelming. Not really too impressive. They burn out pretty fast and everything. Let's yank those things off of there. Let's go up a size to these. Here we are. If I can stick it on there. Go on, stick. There we go. Move those up there like that. Stick a couple nose cones on them. Aerodynamic nose cones. Yeah, like these guys. Or maybe like these guys. Yeah, let's go with the other ones. How about these guys? Good. Okay, and let me see who's restrut the things. Yeah, just proportion-wise, that looks better. And I know sometimes these parts don't actually have the performance that you'd think just by looking at them. Anyway. Save, launch, clear the runway, and proceed. Okay, once again, Bill Kerman, Jebediah Kerman. Let's go, guys. All right, precision control is on. SAS is on. Let me trim backwards a little bit. Good. Stage, throttle up, stage again. Okay, much better takeoff that time. Let's pitch back a little bit. Try and get a pure vertical ascent. Pitch back a little bit more. Yeah, this is a much more satisfying launch already. There we go. And pitch forward a little bit and just try and kind of maintain this angle for a while. Actually, maybe able to get away with turning the SAS off to kind of smooth things out. And just trying to stay on that 90. You know, this is, at this point, it's pretty much like a normal launch. Just like playing regular Kerbal Space Program with a rocket. You guys, you know the drill. Well, except, you know, slight difference. Those of you who have been playing around with Ferrum's Aerospace Research, you already know the drill. Because it's very much like that. Okay, getting ready to get rid of those. Boosters are done. Yeah, maybe those don't even need Separatrons, maybe. Pitch back some, right about there. Let's try and get it back on that 90. Yeah, still slowing down. And this vehicle may still not have enough thrust. Not all the thrust that I want it to have. Okay, there we are, accelerating again. That's good. See what we're doing fuel-wise. Good. Yeah, we'll have to keep track of the fuel quantity in this tank, because whenever it comes time... Oh, I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to tie the same action group to shut off this main engine and jettison the tank all at once. Oh, well, I guess I'll fix that later. It's not really necessary to do it that way. I think this thing could actually use quite a bit more thrust. We see we haven't even gone supersonic yet. Yeah, finally getting up into some of the thin air where we aren't going to be fighting a whole bunch of those aerodynamic effects so much. So that's good. Apoapsis is up there above 50, so this is good. Yeah, I'm fairly certain that at this point, this vehicle is going to be able to orbit. It's still, It's got kind of an uninspiring amount of thrust at launch, and I wouldn't care to bet how much of a payload it'll be able to lift. But then it's only lifting very lightweight payloads. This is going to be the smallest of the whole series. Actually, forward throttle down some now. Okay, almost time to get rid of that tank, as it's almost done. It's done. Get rid of that tank. Oh yeah, that definitely needs a Sepratron on it, doesn't it? Okay, now I'll hit this hotkey to turn this engine off. That's good. So now we're just using the OMS engines, and they should just, and those are only going to be using the onboard, the fuel supply inside the wings. Oops, let's not be bumping against that. Okay, definitely need some Separatrons. I don't know what I was thinking, imagining that I might be able to get away with not using them. I'm just going to nudge that thing out of the way a little bit. Okay, aim right here. Now we're just using the OMS. Tell you what, let's go ahead and pitch back some. Oh wow, it's very, very slow to pitch. I don't want that apoapsis to grow too high. But right here, good. Okay, yes, it is going to reach orbit. So, that's good. Something to be kind of pleased with, huh? Even if we are getting very, very close to re-entering the very, very upper reaches of the atmosphere again. But we'll still make it. Okay, so yeah, it'll go down to 63. Yep, okay, it can do it. However, this first design, this first attempt, it has some flaws and it needs worked on. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end flight. End flight. Let's go back and take a look at this. Okay, pull that one down there, pull that one up there. First thing I'm going to do is tweakable parameters. Let's go for this engine. Let's go ahead and max this engine out. So it's in effect, it's like 3. Yeah, I think it's like 3 of those stock engines in one. Okay. Also, now that I did that, this thing is going to be even more fuel hungry. Let's add some more fuel. Because I want this thing to get up to the point where it's just running out of fuel at about the same time. Yeah, it runs out of fuel at the same time that the periapsis comes around to positive numbers. I find that usually works best.